Welcome back. We are now on a different topic. It's all the beginning of drawing. So we went from the viewfinder, which was our last conversation, and now I'm going into sighting. Now, what is sighting? I'll give you a definition. Definitions are always intended to make things very simple, but sometimes they don't have enough behind them. There isn't enough meat behind them, especially if you haven't had the artistic skirmishes against what we're talking about for it to sink in. So I will read you first the definition of sighting, which is our next step. Sighting, a measuring process based on careful observation that helps to translate observable three-dimensional information into a two-dimensional language. That may say a lot, may say nothing. So I'm going to try to explain it in very simple or layman terms. So we have seen now through the viewfinder, and what you have seen through the viewfinder must now be put on paper, and that's what we call sighting. But it's not a complete drawing. It's a schematic, very sketchy type of placement. Sometimes I'll only place a line, direction, and then I will show you how to develop the drawing. But the first thing we need are placeholders in our space, our four windows. We need objects to be put in there. So this is what I'm going to demonstrate today. Now, I have a normal number 2 pencil. I have my famous kneaded eraser, and this is the way we clean the kneaded eraser, by stretching it, and all the debris that it picks up will go into the center of this. The best way to have this is to always have it light gray. So now we're going to try to draw something on here, try to sight those 5 objects into these 4 spaces or 4 windows based upon what I see through here. Now, we have to take that information first and understand it. We created a composition. I played with it a little while before I decided on this one being the most interesting, the most dynamic. I like compositions to be dynamic and to be asymmetrical. Symmetry is this type of balance where you put something here and you balance it with this. It's too predictable, it's kind of boring. So in art, you do want to be surprised by asymmetrical balance. It's still balance, but it's more dynamic balance. The other is more predictable. So I will make an example for you. If I tell you a joke, and this is an analogy, a parallel. If I tell you a joke and you guess the punchline, you're not going to laugh. So in the same way, if you go to see art or judge art or go to a museum, you want to be surprised. You don't want to predict the ending. You don't want to get the punchline. What makes us laugh in a joke is that we never get the punchline. If we don't get the punchline, then we think it's creative. Therefore, it makes us laugh. That's the analogy I wanted to present to all of you. So, I created this composition, which I think is an asymmetrical composition. And now we're going to try to sight it as we attempt to put it here in place of what I am seeing here. And like I said before, like a photographer, is doing this with the camera, with the lens, I am doing this to also view my composition. Now at first we're not cropping. At first we're trying to put everything in there and we're trying to distribute those objects in space. Once you know how to do that, then you can start cropping. Okay? So, from what I am seeing now, I will be trying to cite things on here. So, I need the information. And what is the information? Which is my tallest object? Which is my smallest object? Which is the object that's in the center? Which is the darkest object? Which is the lightest object? All of these questions go through your mind, and you create in your mind a hierarchy of things, an inventory of them. And that's what you're going to try to put into your composition. So when you find your 5 objects at home, you're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to be looking, you don't want them all to be the same color. You don't want them all to be the same size. You don't want them all to have the same width. So all of these things are things to keep in mind while you are creating this first pre-instruction drawing. Okay, so now I'm going to cite things for you so that you see how it's done. Okay, so I started to cite things, and you can start from the center, or you can start from, as I did over here, from the tallest object. So I'm trying to just place things, put things without any detail in its place to occupy, placeholder on the space. So we can start from the center, and then we can go to the side. And whatever I'm seeing here in these boxes, I am putting here. So I'm going to start. We're creating a hierarchy of things that are going to be in their place. This doesn't mean that we have made the last word on this. We can move, we can adjust, we can tweak. Remember, that's what the kneaded eraser is for. So it's just a placeholder. And I'm going to explain how we do this even better afterwards so that you understand what is going to happen here. I'm letting gravity sort of, when I'm doing a straight line, gravity help me. I go from the shoulder here and I just do this, and gravity will help me do a straight line. So I'm going to explain a few things in a moment here. And you notice that I'm starting from the top going down. Anything I do as I'm comfortable. If my arm does not feel comfortable, if my hand doesn't feel comfortable, I can't draw that circle properly. So everything is done either with gravity. I sometimes see, and I'm saying this because I sometimes see someone trying to go against gravity. They'll try to do a straight line going upward. You don't do a straight line that way. You do a straight line coming down. So gravity is going to be with you, is going to help you to get that line in its proper dimension. So as you can see, this object that I've placed is here. This is the bottle, the beginning of the tape, And now I was working a little bit on the boy and the rectangle. All of this is because you can pick. You don't have to never do one object and then start on the next object and finish the other object and then go on. No, it doesn't work that way. Because if you make a mistake with the first one, then when you get to the last one, you'll have to erase them all so that you can adjust. So right now they're just placeholders. So as I'm going, I'm working with the bobblehead here. And you see, I'm not holding this, like you would sign a check or write your name. I'm holding it as if you're holding a knife. Something that you hold like this, which allows you to move this way. When you hold things like this, your wrist becomes hard and it doesn't allow for movement. But this way, it's loose and it allows for much better drawing. So, as you can see, I'm going down, doing things, just holding the place, trying to find. If you can see, this is our 5 objects. Tallest object, it'll be the darkest object. Competing with this one when we start shading. This will be your darkest, then comes this one in hierarchy. Then comes the tape here, and then comes here and here. So that's hierarchy of color or value. You're going to have hierarchy of size. You're going to have hierarchy of what's in the foreground, what's in the middle ground, and what's in the background. So all of these are considerations that you take into your mind and through your eye to the mind, which instructs the hand at the same time. So what we're doing is like a marathon runner. You just don't run the marathon. You must practice, and you must coordinate your movement. So it's a coordination of eye, mind, and hand. So those 3 things are being coordinated. What you see, what the mind digests, decodes, deciphers, and then what it orders, what the mind orders, the hand to copy, to see, to project. So this is what we've done right now. I don't know if you can see it, if it's dark enough to be seen, but that's what I was seeing through the viewfinder. It will change and it will adjust. Okay, we must move forward with other explanations before you even start to draw, okay? So, I want you to understand one very important thing, fundamental thing, crucial, that drawing is not a talent. Drawing is an acquired skill. How do you learn to draw? You learn to draw by drawing more. That's my simple mantra. You learn to draw by drawing more. I was a terrible draftsman because I never drew. But then I found supplies one day when I was in school, and I started playing with the supplies. Then I started trying to teach myself. I had no real background in it. And at the end, I'm in school studying fine arts, did my undergraduate work in that, and then I got my master's in that. It became a passion. Okay, so now we need to go to the next video so that I can explain to you the 4 C's of drawing. Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye.